How's it going?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to hear all about your story. But first, just so that I don't botch your name,
Ayo.
Io.
Yes.
Io. And then what is your full name?
IODG.
DG. I love
Yes.
it.
Yeah, it means double joy.
I love it even more. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Wait a
AYO, IO means joy, and DEJI means double. So I asked my parents, like, okay, how'd you guys come up with this name? Because my parents are from Nigeria. I was born in Brooklyn. So my dad told me the meaning behind my name was that he was graduating from Hunter's College in New York City. My mom got her full citizenship, and they found out they were having me. So double joy.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I do not have a good story like that. That's an amazing story to go along with your name. Well, so are you in Brooklyn right now then?
Oh no, I was born in Brooklyn, raised in the Bronx, did my undergrad in upstate New York, Buffalo, and now I live in the suburbs of Philly.
Oh, that's so cool. What brought you to Philly?
I did my master's, I did my MBA here, and honestly, cost of living, I love New York City, I love home, but I saw the writing on the wall, and the cost of living in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia specifically, like the suburbs, it was just so much more affordable than the boroughs. So
Uh,
uh, literally like a month before I graduated with my master's in business, I bought a duplex. I did house hacking.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What the hey? Okay, tell me your story. I want to know like how you got into real estate investing because you're telling me you have your like undergrad, MBA, you have a duplex. And so tell me how your journey started.
So growing up, I know like especially when you have family that's like African descent or even West Indian, Asian, Spanish, a lot of when they would ask you what do you want to be, a lot of the expectation they want to hear is lawyer, doctor, engineer, nurse, something in those fields. And for me it was like, I just not want to be rich. And they would laugh like, well, any of those fields would get you there. And I'm like, yeah, but I had some family members and some of my family friends who were in those fields, but they weren't happy. And I saw for a lot of them their time was being traded for those dollars. So I just knew if I was rich, I had a company, I have my time, and I can do whatever I want. So slowly but surely, that's where eventually having that mindset and that passion led me to real estate. I know I started my undergrad as a business major, then I switched it last minute to communications, but then I still went to did my MBA in marketing and management, and after that, I was working as a therapist. I didn't go to school for it, but I worked as a child therapist with kids with special needs.
Oh,
So I was a behavioral therapist for like a few years. And then when I met my wife, I didn't ask her the traditional things like, "Hey, what's your favorite color? What's your spirit animal? Like, I'm a dog, maybe you're a cat," things like that. It was more so like, "Hey, like, what do you plan? Like, where do you see yourself in a few years or a few months?" And at least like her response was kind of what triggered it. Like she told me, I want to buy enough properties, rental properties, where I have enough rental income that takes care of every bill. And I still have some money to play with if I wanted to travel or do whatever. And when she said that, I just looked at her and I'm like, wow, that makes so much sense. Like, and before I realized it was like exactly what she was looking for was pretty much what I was looking for. So at this time, I bought a duplex, and she was even because I had some money to play with, and she was saying, "Hey, go find." Like I was renting, but she was like, "You need to go find a duplex," and I agreed too. Like my dad told me the same thing, but she's such a go getter. Like she went and found a realtor, and we were at it, and then before I knew it, I bought a duplex, lived in one unit, rent out the other one, and then slowly started building from there.
you guys sound like a power couple. Just like, so are you guys doing this together then? The real estate
Yeah,
investing then?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I love. Okay, well, so tell me about your deal with the Deal Machine or how you got into using Deal Machine and that kind of story.
So I came across DealMachine back, I think, when a lot of people was just coming to know about DealMachine, which was 2018. like
Yeah.
kind of like fall-ish around 2018. I know like you guys would put out a lot of content from Max Maxwell, The Polite. So, and it's funny, like I started driving for dollars and I'm like, there's definitely got to be an easier way. And it was like perfect, like around this, like when we found out about DealMachine, it was, it was just a wrap. It was a no brainer, and we've been a member ever since. I would drive for dollars. She would. I think I even added her to my account so that I'm looking left, she's looking right. We're driving slow. We got the
Oh,
kids in the back. So DealMachine's been great. I've recommend that to anyone starting out. And I told them I don't get paid for it, but I told them if your budget is low, I always tell everyone start with driving for dollars anyways and pay $50 a month. That first deal will easily pay for DealMachine for a year or two or three if, depending how much your assignment fee is. So it's funny because even like with some of the deals, because our goal for this year was to do 100K in deals. Like I told my wife last year, the goal is to do 100K in deals because we do wholesaling, we do subject to, we do lease option.
nice.
So, and we've hit that goal this past August. We actually surpassed this. So we're, I think, at like 100 and it was 111,000. And we still have the remainder of the year to go. So I told my wife, new goal, let's push it up to 250,000. I had a closing set up for today. My buyer didn't have all her closing cost funds, so we pushed it back for next week. But we still have another closing later this month or maybe early next month. That one is from a lease option deal that we put together, and we have I think 2 more deals in the pipeline. So
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, congratulations. That's
thank you.
huge. In such a like what in the hey year, you still like are like killing it with getting your goals in there. You both sound like you have just that like goal entrepreneur mindset where you're just like, this is, and that's so wonderful to see that you had that at such a young age too, though. Like, that's amazing. So, tell me, like, what are your processes with like getting like leads in and stuff like that? Do you guys have a set time that you go driving? Like, do you have a team?
So we've learned to automate systemize is the word, everything we do. So let's say first of the month, I'll pull a list from like maybe PropStream. So we'll spend that Monday, even though we'll pull a list, we'll still go driving for dollars in a specific zip code because every time we go driving for dollars, there's a house that wasn't even on the list that we always end up finding. And then we make it a point if we see a mailman or a mail lady, I stop, go talk to them, tell them what I do. And then now they become a bird dog or an extra source for us. Like, oh, you guys want to go, you should go check out this house around the corner or down the block. They'll even know the address and we'll call them. And if it's a deal, great. If it's not, they just go up in our follow-up system. So we'll start the first, I would say the first Monday of every month. We'll dedicate Monday till Wednesday. We'll drive for dollars. We'll add to our list that we already pulled on PropStream. That night we're skip tracing through batch skip tracing, and then by Thursday, I'm putting it. I have a VA now. She's great. We have her do SMS campaign. For the people who don't respond to the SMS campaign, maybe because it's a landline or they just don't pick up, she knows that she has to now do a call them.
Okay.
And then the ones who don't answer her calls, be it a landline or even a cell phone, then we're now going to dedicate money into sending them a postcard via DealMachine. So we're touching them 3 ways, like texting, calling, and then with the DealMachine app. But now we kind of took it a step further, and I would go in front of their house. And by this time, the list has already shrunk. So I will go to those houses. Maybe it's like 20, 30 houses. I'll go back, drive to those houses to take a picture of their house. But I'll put my ugly mug on the front of the picture, smiling and pointing back to their house. So now they're like, who is this black guy smiling, goofy looking, pointing to my house? And that usually gets the phone ringing. And then if no one answers that, we found out that means that either the person has passed away or they're incarcerated. So then we will do a deeper skip trace and reach out to family members.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. I love the process. Like, it's just like you guys are systematic and just boom, 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 boom. And I
Right.
love that you take a picture with the house, because I mean, the whole point of putting the house on there is to get their attention. You
Right.
have the person literally standing in front of it. They're definitely going to be like, whoa, hold up. What's going
Right.
on? Do you have a sequence of postcards, or do you just send that one?
So we would send it, I think we do it 7 times, every 21 days, 7 times. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And are you both kind of doing the admin side of thing on Deal Machine? Like, do one of you just like only send postcards? Do one only like skip trace? Like, how do you guys do that as when other co-preneurs are kind of watching this? How do you divvy that up?
So it really comes down to knowing your strengths and knowing your partner's strengths. We sat down and talked about it, and she's like, you're more a little bit tech savvy and fun with that. She'll probably take my picture to help the picture come out right, but I'll pretty much will just upload it, send it, and pretty much send it and forget it until they call us back.
I mean, when it's on repeat, that's what I love about it, because I do the same thing. I'm just like, send, and I don't worry about it, because it's just like,
Right.
okay, it's going, it's gonna touch them. If they call me, they call me, and then I have, like you said, follow up. So one thing I wanted to ask though, you said that you tell people about Deal Machine. You better be giving them your referral code so you
Oh,
get
of
money.
course.
Okay, good.
Of course.
I was about to say, I would hate for you to be losing out on like free money for Deal Machine. Do your kids ever drive along with you and they're like,
Of
Daddy,
course.
there's a bad house?
Because we have our oldest is 4, then we have a 2-year-old and a 7-month-old, all boys, Liam, Luke, Levi. So they
Congrats.
know.
7th month old, that's very like in COVID, like right before, right?
Yeah, he was born not December, February, so
Right.
before COVID. Yeah. So we'll like, because we have our company shirts with logos, so we'll put like, we gotten them for them when they used to go to daycare. It'll have like, my dad and mom buys houses. They can buy yours too with our phone number. So that's been a good lead generating resource right there. We're putting the kids to work too. And
Oh my God,
ultimately,
that's brilliant.
and like their teachers will say, you know what, I have this house that my mom bought back in Pittsburgh, and I'm all the way over here. I don't know what to do with it. So it's been a great lead source, a good conversation started too. Like, oh, you guys own a business? You guys buy houses? Yeah. So that's been good.
Are you staying just in the market you guys are in, or do you market to any other type places?
Well, because we started doing Facebook ads back in April, especially when COVID started. So we've done a deal in, we just closed on a subject to deal in Virginia. We closed on that in July, and I already got a buyer in there, I think last month. Our cash flow, like he put down like $6,700 down. We're gonna cash flow from that about $500. Our Facebook ad gave us a lease option deal in Tennessee where we're cash flowing like $600 to $700 there. So, and I've gotten Facebook leads from like neighboring states like Jersey, Delaware. So like we're not just on our own market. We'll do deals pretty much anywhere if it makes sense.
How do you go about finding buyers in those areas?
Uh, so we will, and it's funny, like because of COVID, we've seen our business boost, and it's forced us to also change with the market. There's some people who may not like what's the word? Was it interpersonal extra? Well, they may not be a people person. They would probably like to shy behind the phone or behind text. And because of COVID, you kind of have no choice. So we found our buyers like for any of our deals, be it wholesaling or the creative, we pretty much, if it's a deal, we'll put it on Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
We'll put it on Craigslist, and it's just get ready for your phone to go off, ring off the hook. That's pretty much it.
Do you guys have like one number, like how do you guys who picks up the phone? Like, how do you know?
So because like I will pick up the phone, but even I get to that point with talking to a buyer and screening them, I will ask them questions, and if they seem legit, then we'll go to the next phase of getting on the phone and then talking to them. So everything we do, we like to keep it systemized, keep it and filtered too, so that we're being very specific and targeted.
Are you both very like type A organized, or is there one of you that's more organized than the other?
It's a blend, but I would say maybe I'm a little bit more organized and she's more, she's a delegator.
I like it. You
And
need
I can be
like,
more delegating and she could be a bit more organized. So it really depends on what it is that we're doing, but we kind of bounce off each other's strength.
how did you come about, you know, creative financing is really, really popular right now because of just you're having to be creative with COVID times. Like, how did you come to learn about like subject to and doing the lease options and stuff like that?
Well, my first deal that I've ever done was actually a creative deal, which was lease option. My first lease option deal was, when was it? April or May of 2018. I went to two Ron LeGrand event seminars. I know I went to one in December 2017, and then for Valentine's Day 2017, I told my wife, hey, instead of going out to eat, let's go on a business trip.
Ah,
So we went again to a Ron LeGrand event. She was pregnant. I told her, don't worry, we'll fly first class for this. And that's where I learned everything from wholesaling, subject to the creative deals, because you get paid upfront, monthly, and then in the back end. And the wholesale to go back, but with the creative deals, with the lease options and subject to, not only are you getting that, I guess with subject to, it's a deposit down, and with lease option, there's an option fee up front, but now you're building cash flow every month. And
mhm.
ultimately, our goal is where for our kids, we want to buy them like a small multifamily, maybe between a duplex or a fourplex for each of them, so that by the time they turn 18, it'll already be paid off. If they want to go to college, great. We'll say, this is your property, this is your asset. We'll be teaching them how to manage it, but by then it's like, this is yours. I need money. And we're training them to, and they may not want to do what we're doing, which is real estate, and we're not going to force it upon them, but it's like, hey, at least you have something, something that can give you money for the rest of your life. It's kind of like that treating your kid how to fish, as opposed to just giving them the fish. It's like, I've taught you how to fish, so you shouldn't go hungry if you do it right.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I mean, it just brings so much value to their life where you're giving them that, like you said, it's they don't have to go into it, but they
Right.
have that option
Correct.
to do that. And you guys, heck, they don't have to pay for a mentorship. They already got you guys as parents. So
Well, that depends if they want to do something else. Again, like if they want to go to college, and she has her master's too, her MBA. If they want to go to college, great. If they don't, that's fine too. We're not going to push it on them, as long as they're doing something that makes them happy and they have some money coming in. Again, I just don't want them coming back to us saying, hey, we need a place to stay. I mean, we won't turn them away, but when it just comes down to it, it's like, hey, you got this property. It should be giving you money. Take care of this. So it's just giving them that space to be independent, to learn how to manage a property, manage people. And I think once we can get that all set up for them, they should be all right. And whatever they do, whether it's they decide to do real estate with us on their own, full-time, part-time, either way, we just want them to be involved with that and to kind of build up that sense of independence.
I love that. And I love how you just incorporate your whole family. Like it's you, your wife, your kids, like, and you're just bringing so much value to them. And I think a lot of people, when they do this to build generational wealth. And I think that that's
Correct.
amazing. And are you pretty heavily involved with like your local REI and stuff like that? Like,
I was looking into one, but again, because of COVID, that
yeah.
kind of forced everybody to go virtual. So a lot of stuff that I've been doing have been virtual when it comes to like certain groups, meeting people. Heck, even when I'm dealing with sellers, I can be dealing with southeast of Pennsylvania, and we have deals that are like up north PA that kind of borders PA and the south tip of New York, or maybe it borders Ohio. And because of COVID, I have the sellers sending us pictures of the property, doing a video walkthrough for us totally free, and I'll have the buyers go there. I know the last deal we did, I told the seller because of COVID, we're going to send a partner out to go look at the property. Just wait in your car, beep once or twice so that they know it's you. And when they're done, they'll wave to let you know they're done, and they'll put the key back. So it's been great. I know a lot of people worry, like, well, what if the buyer talks to the seller? Well, COVID sucks for a lot of, for the meeting and socializing, but use it to your advantage. And I think with COVID happening, it kind of forced everybody, because that's life. Things won't always go as planned. So you're going to have to learn and be prepared to pivot and go with it. It's like water. You don't want to fight the water, just flow with the water.
I
Go
love
with
it.
it. And that's what we're doing.
I love that you had the honk twice and everything. Like that's just so, because different people, there are people that have like immune compromised assistants and everything like that. So you have to be so like respectful of them.
Right.
Your time is precious, but I want to thank you for sharing this. And I want to make sure you're okay if we post this on YouTube for everyone to see. And I'm going to send you an email to get your address to send you some swag, you, your wife, and your kids. I want to get you guys all swag.
All right.
Also, I was wondering if you and your wife would be interested in being on one of my lives sometime, because I would love to have you guys answering questions for other, people.
Okay. Yeah, I'll talk to her.
Okay.
See her schedule, make sure I schedule maps, because I know she does. She's like, with what we've done with wholesaling, and it may not be, well, it's still on topic. So at least what she's done now, because my wife is very creative and imaginative. So she's gone on Facebook Marketplace. She would find, like, let's say a Chester drawer. Someone may be selling it for free or like maybe $20. She'll pick it up, refurbish it, like paint it, put new handles on it, and then she sells it, like wholesales it for a higher price. It was crazy. Like she did, like, let me see, and I told her, like, she kind of made an impact on the environment. Not only like something that was so much trash and it was gonna just throw it away. We've had people that when they bought it, they're like, oh my gosh, thank you, because of some of the colors that she used. It was very specific for some people's color pattern, maybe for their kids. One lady bought one for her pet, her dog. So, and everyone is like, oh my gosh, thank you. Like, you helped me solve the problem. And she felt really good. And I'm like, I always knew you had that skill, and she knew it too. But to hear someone validate your value, like validate something that you created, and then they're actually willing to pay what you're asking for, it hit different for her. And it just pretty much validated what I already knew she had in her. So, and I told her, like, that's cool. You kind of wholesale furniture, which is what we do. We wholesale contracts. So that was fun to see.
That is a woman after my own heart. I love doing that. Hannah's in the office with me and she does the same thing. Like, we love refurbishing stuff, and it's so, because it's also, you're helping the environment and you're also recycling, but you're also, making a nice little, penny in between. And I'm sure that's a good creative outlet for her too, to paint or create something, because real estate's fun, but you don't get to, like, make a whole piece of art out of it. So, but yeah, well, again, thank you so much.